The state is reporting its first COVID fatality in a resident fully vaccinated against the virus. Here's what we know so far. State health officials say it was an Oahu man over the age of 80 who had multiple underlying health conditions. Nationwide, the CDC reported 968 deaths among fully vaccinated people across the U.S. through last week, Tuesday. Of that number, 26% of those fatal cases were reported as either asymptomatic or not directly related to COVID. Back here at home, officials say there were 291 reported breakthrough cases as of Friday among 825,000 fully vaccinated residents. For a second straight day, the state is seeing COVID cases in the triple digits. There are 102 new cases reported today. The number of active cases now at 714, with 4 more people in the hospital. Health officials say they expect COVID cases to continue increasing as a result of the 4th of July holiday and the highly contagious Delta variant spreading across the state. Nikki Schenfeld follows up.
The health department is expected to release how many Delta cases have been detected in the state sometime this week, but the number of cases currently circulating will likely be much higher because it takes about 2 weeks to sequence probable variant cases. Health officials are also noticing an uptick in pediatric cases among children who are not eligible to get the vaccine. 1 week after the July 4th weekend, and health officials believe the state is already seeing a small surge in cases.
And it looks like this is the early part of a surge after 4th of July. Hopefully it won't be too severe.
Would you be surprised if Delta has taken hold in Hawaii?
I'm confident it has. I think it's happening everywhere.
It's still unknown if the Delta variant increases severe illness, but health officials say vaccines work against it, keeping fully vaccinated people out of the hospital. On Friday, State Health Director Dr. Libby Char said of the 116 COVID hospitalizations in June, more than 96% of patients were not fully vaccinated.
I had someone write me some pretty nasty stuff today saying that I should stop recommending vaccinations. And I told that person, you consider what the impact is on the 48 people in the hospital. Those individuals are very sick, and some of them were unable to get vaccinated, and it's getting worse for them.
The Delta variant is so much more transmissible among people who are not protected. The unvaccinated among us, those who can't get vaccinated or choose not to, are at risk of catching COVID more easily now than they were before the Delta variant appeared.
Green says about a third of the state is at risk of catching COVID or the Delta variant, including about 216,000 keiki.
We are seeing a lot more cases in children than we did many months ago. They're not getting very sick. That's good news. Although we have one who's hospitalized, quite ill. I can't say more about it than that, but scary.
People have this idea that kids don't get sick with COVID. They certainly can get infected with COVID. And we are seeing some children with a significant illness that end up in the hospitals.
She says vaccinated households are already doing their part to keep their kids safe, but encourages mask wearing in children over the age of 2.
Being careful about who you go and hang out with as a family if you're with other folks who may not be as highly vaccinated as your family. So just being cautious about possible exposure in those ways, doing the activities outside instead of inside, things like that.
Even for vaccinated people, there's that slight risk of your catching the virus, and it won't make you very sick, but you could bring it home to a child under 12. And it could be life-changing. It could be devastating.
FDA approval for vaccinations in children under the age of 12 is expected to come in the fall, but there is still no set dates. Nikki Schenfeld, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.